Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the Coffee Break Podcast with Zach and Chris. My name is Zach Grayson, and with me is the man with the financial plan, Christian Fournier. How are we doing, sir?
We're doing great. I love that part every single time. I'm anticipating it's coming. So no, I'm doing very good, Zach. Thanks, man. I'm doing good.
Awesome. Well, look, first of all, before I go into the headlines of what we're going to talk about today, I do want to take some time to, again, thank everybody who's watching. We appreciate the support. It's growing every week, so we're really happy to see that. Other things you could do to help us, like, comment, subscribe. Obviously, we got another subscriber this week. We got 11, so we're past 10. Now we're making our way to 20. So let's make it up to 20, guys. But thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. And we get the comments through DMs. I know, Chris, you've gotten a few. I've gotten a few on my end. So it's really cool. It's super encouraging. And we love to do this. So on top of having fun ourselves, it's good to see that people are enjoying it. Now, we have a packed show today, and we're probably not going to have time to touch on everything, but there's a lot of headlines this week. The Apple Vision Pro. I don't know if you saw that, those goggles, the new kind of not even virtual reality, but augmented reality that they call. That came out. So I'm curious to see how that affected Apple. Lewis Hamilton going from, Mercedes to Ferrari, right? Formula One. That was big news. The Fed said that rate cuts are unlikely in March, and the market did react to that. The Dow went down 300 points. The NASDAQ lost 2%. So maybe we'll touch on that today. One thing I want to ask you, Chris, and we'll see if we get to this, but I do want to talk about, sometimes I see an article from the Wall Street Journal saying, economy's doing great. We just, unemployment is going down. And then I see another article saying the U.S. cut 300,000 jobs this quarter and blah, 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 not going well. So I just want to know, where do you get your information, and why are they looking at the same stats and coming out with different conclusions? Or, maybe we'll talk about that today. Jamie Dimon, he's always pretty pessimistic, but now he's talking about the big issue with the U.S. debt crisis. And obviously, U.S. affects Canada all the time. So maybe we'll get into that. And finally, one thing that I find really interesting that you brought up, Chris, is the enhanced game and what I call the death of the Olympics.
Okay.
Yes, I think the Olympics are dead because of that. If we do have time, my book insight of the week, I'm reading this book right now and I absolutely love it. It's Quiet Strength by Tony Dungy. He is a Super Bowl champion, coached the Indianapolis Colts, and he talks about his journey as a coach. And the big theme that I think was really interesting in the book that I would like to share if we do have time is, when difficult things happen in life, often we ask why. Why is this happening to me? Why now? Why me? But he offers a lot of great insight on asking what instead of why. What can I do? What can I learn from this? What is my next step? What is the lesson in this? What is life trying to teach me? So we'll see if we get to that. But in these headlines, Chris, what do you want to start with this week?
Look, we'll start real quick with the Apple Vision Pros. When I saw that they announced it last year? Well, it was last year, mid-year. I said, man, I need a pair of those. I saw the price quite steep, so we'll see. It's about 3,500.
What are we talking about here?
3,500 USD. So in CAD, it's close to 5. But man, looking at the features, I could be sitting down on the couch over there with a little fire, have a perfect large 4K screen, augmented reality. I could build an office from here right now, have an emails on one side, as many screens as I want. So look, the future is going towards that. Meta, we didn't talk about it, but Meta shares are up 20% today. So look, there's a lot of things going towards AI, virtual reality, augmented reality. We're doing this podcast virtually. I think it's going to be the norm in a couple of years from now. We might not be on a computer screen where I could be there on a plane and have my full setup with these Vision Pros. Now, they might be heavy. They're extremely expensive. Technology is not there yet, but for them to come out with that, what I love about it, competitors are going to be coming in, prices will start dropping. There's going to be more features added to it. So we're going towards that type of segment. And it's cool to see these companies keep innovating. I mean, Apple, like, they've always been on the ball for their innovations or products, taking stuff and just making it more appealing and better to use with. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say with the Vision Pro. I'm excited. I'll get my hands on one of them there shortly.
Okay, well, there's a few things I want to touch on about that, but before I do that, I have to mention it because I just felt the anger just come up for a bit when I imagined someone next to me in a plane, just starting to do this and starting to move stuff on the virtual. I have a hard time with people using my little armrest. Can you imagine if someone's just kind of editing a picture, but in their own world, and they have these goggles on? Anyways, I just thought of that, and I had to share it. But it's funny that you mentioned that because you talked about the innovative side, and we won't spend too much time on the product itself. Yeah, it's great, but I think the innovation side, it made me think about a conversation me and you were having yesterday. We were talking about the fact, because now we're, putting the word out there that we're starting to look for our next advisor that's going to join our team.
Exactly.
And we were talking about, does he need to be in Sherbrooke? Does he need to be in Quebec City, near you or near me? But then we realized, we're like, look, virtual is new. It's only 4 years old almost in March. When COVID hit, that's when things went virtual. And that's when our industry and financial services was forced to go digital.
Yeah.
Electronic signatures, virtual meetings, before everything was on paper and in person.
Exactly.
But then we started thinking, we were like, if the industry's always been, more in person, and obviously it's a lot easier to build chemistry in an office when you're in person with people. And I'm someone who loves to see people in face to face. You're the same way.
Yep.
But then we're starting to think, is that maybe an advantage of what's to come, of us being young in the industry and just thinking ahead and being like, okay, well, what if we were able to find the formula of doing this virtually? Yeah. That would expand our market right away, because you're in Quebec City, I'm in Sherbrooke. What if we have someone that's in Three Rivers, or that's in Ottawa, or whatever it may be? That gives us so much more access. So I'm just thinking the Apple Vision Pro comes with the early adapters, like you seem to be one of those who wants to be one of the early adapters. You want to try first and all that. But I think that that's something that maybe us personally and people listening, if they have a business or whatever, don't be scared to be an early adapter. Because I think in the next few years, we're going to be dabbling into how could we, be at the forefront of the digitalization of our industry and financial services, and be ahead of the curve. So that's what the Vision Pro kind of brought me to, is just thinking about our conversation of, embracing the digital aspect and the virtual aspect of the industry and how it's shifting, and use it to our advantage.
I'll add one thing to that, Zach. So this week, child's at daycare, so we're catching everything. I had a cold, and I reached out to a very important client of mine, high net worth, very sweet client from Montreal. And I told her, look, if you don't mind, I'd rather reschedule till next week, or we could do it virtually. And we did the meeting virtually, and she actually loved it. And this is a client that we're used to.
This was a first time virtual.
First time virtual. Usually we meet in person at the office. We go over everything, but it's so easy in the sense I have access to everything on my fingertips. I can share the screens, look at the reports, look at the performance. So the industry is going there. I love interacting with people. I love being in person, but it's just added such a bonus. We have clients in BC. We have clients all over Canada, from coast to coast. So it's changed the game. Now, talking about changing the game. Oh, go ahead before we move on.
Well, I was just going to say, and at the end of the day, when we meet with clients in person, me anyways, we're in a conference room, my computer's plugged in, and I'm sharing my screen. Exactly. So other than them being right next to me, we're still looking at a screen. But anyways, no, go ahead, because I'm excited about this next
Changing
topic.
The game. So look, Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion. Some say 8, but we're not going to get into that debate. Moving to Ferrari, okay? But where I want to bring this conversation, Zach, it's more along the lines of loyalty. And some of our listeners, they work for a business, probably a big corporation. Some of them have had a lot of success with these places, but we see it in football. Tom Brady, he switched teams at some point.
Don't tell me that.
But what
Still
does what line is there? Do you have to be loyal? Do you take the switch if there's better opportunities elsewhere? Do you have to think more about yourself? I just want to see your thoughts on that. I mean, it's a headline regarding F1, but it comes down to the deeper question of what are you really tied to? And what do you really owe an organization, someone that brought you up, someone that brought you in? I want to hear your thoughts on that.
I think that it comes down to, is it a one-way street? Is the relationship now only one way? Okay. You know, like if, for example, if you have two people, two parties, just because it could be two companies, it could be a person and their company or whatever. Because let's say for the example, Tom Brady, without getting too emotional here, you know, like he was at a point where he felt like that New England didn't have any more to offer him. And New England on their side, they were looking, you know, Coach Belichick was looking at Tom Brady and they're trying to build for the future. And now don't get me talking about Bill Belichick because he's gone too. The dynasty's over. But anyways, the point I'm coming to is that I think when you talk about loyalty, and because I think the next level to this question is, when is it time to leave, or when is it justified to leave or to go somewhere else? I think it's when it becomes a one-way street. When you're giving, and then you're not getting anything in return, or what you're getting in return just doesn't seem fair to you. You know, so I don't know F1 outside of the Netflix series. Me and my fiance, we do love that series. It's great. We watch it all. It's actually one of the few series that we've watched from beginning to end. So I don't know much about the F1 world, but if I were to say anything, because we're talking about more the bigger picture of what that story kind of represents, I think you just got to respect yourself in a sense that if you feel like you're giving, but they don't respect the effort, or it's a one-way street, maybe that's time to move forward. But if it's a two-way relationship and they're working on how can we make this better? How can we fix it? But you're just leaving, or there's a big paycheck on the other side and that's all you're thinking about. Loyalty is big. Yeah. Loyalty is huge. I mean, I think we're two people that it's one of our core values. So it's really important to us. But I think if there were a point where you have to start thinking about moving on, it's when it's a one-way street.
That's I like you said that, Zach. And I'll tie it into our financial services business. Okay. We have a client. Let's say we brought them on when they weren't making much, and let's say we've been with them for 20 years, and we brought them to a level where now they're worth millions, and then they might, you know, once you reach $1 million in investable assets, you start getting demand. The other advisors they're going to want to go after that business, right? What we can't forget as a business, yes, they might be there because of a joint partnership. We work together over the long term. But we still have to be delivering that value to them because they're paying us significant amount of money to deal with us and vice versa. So we can't forget that. So that's a good point that you said. Yes, we can't just take for par acquis, as we'd say in French, that someone's going to be with us forever because that's how we start. We can't take them for granted is what I wanted to say. So we have to keep providing value. And what's nice, though, that I've seen so far, I mean, that's what it's been portrayed. Mercedes seems happy for Lewis, Ferrari. They're going to get one of world-class, one of the best drivers of all time. I'm pretty happy. Look, I love Ferrari. I told myself, I was in middle school, okay? So 11, 12 years old. Imagine that. I told myself I'd put from 25 to 50, I would put $5,000 away into an I didn't even know what investments were back then, but into an account. Why? Because I told myself by the time I'm 50 years old, I'd have $125,000 in cash. A Ferrari is way more than that now. But anyways, and I'm going to go to the store and buy my Ferrari in cash. So, yeah, little Fournier doesn't even know about investing yet, but I say, $5,000 away, 25 to 50 years old, I'll buy it in cash. So yeah, that's what's that, so to see.
Little What's man that? With the financial plan.
Little man with the financial plan. I started young. I've been that guy. Always delayed gratification, man. I've always had that. So
But that's impressive though. Yeah, delayed gratification, because I think that the younger you are, the harder that is to kind of embrace the fact that, the longer, oh man, what is something I just read? Something, long-term consistency trumps short-term intensity.
Nice.
I think that's a great quote,
I
especially for
like
us
that.
this year that we were talking about in 2024, year
Yeah.
of action, but also consistency over intensity.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that you had that mentality already as a kid, because you wanted a Ferrari. You're not thinking about the logic behind the strategy, but you're
No,
just
no.
thinking, how is this going to be possible? And the fact that you're thinking at 10, 12 years old about you at 50 years old,
Yeah, yeah, it's
that's
something.
pretty darn impressive, man. And it says a lot about you. And I'm not
I
surprised though.
no. So
And
look, we,
last thing I do, sorry about that.
no,
I
no,
don't
no
want to cut
worries.
you off, but last thing I'll say about the loyalty thing
Yeah.
is, what is one of the main reasons why clients leave another advisor and come to us, that we hear when we talk to them? Because obviously we ask, why are you leaving?
Well, one, it's what it comes down to. They've never heard from them. They're not there. Look, I'll give you one.
It's a
I have a
one-way street.
client I'm working on right now. Email their advisor. It takes them a month to get back to them. If I have a call coming in,
A month.
one, I could be in a meeting. I get a call coming in. They'll get a text. Look, I'm busy. I'll call you right back. Moment it's done, bam, contacted, done. Merci, bonsoir. We're set and we're moving in the right direction. So no, they just have to be present. And I look, a lot of them, they don't know all the work that we do in the background. We're constantly looking at the portfolios. They can't forget that this is a long-term game. We're not just going to go and make moves to make moves, but they have to feel like they're getting taken care of. And that's the biggest insatisfaction.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And you said it. Like, the main reason we hear is that, oh, I haven't heard of my advisor for years or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah. So okay. Um, I don't know how much. Oh, didn't know there was a button there, but that didn't change anything. Um, uh, I do want to get to the enhanced games, but before that,
Yep.
I want to talk about, Elon Musk, his payment package. And I know that, I don't know if you started reading it, but I know that you do have the Elon Musk book.
Yep.
You bought the brick.
I did. I
I
have it
got
in
the
physical.
yeah, I listened to the audiobook as soon as I saw how long it was, but really good. So basically, the courts denied Elon Musk's payment package, and I'm not gonna say this story the perfect way. Don't quote me, whatever. Go read about it. But basically, what it is that Elon Musk, when he built Tesla and he went to the board, they
Yep.
agreed on a payment package where he said, "I am not going to take any salary from Tesla, but if I hit these goals, which were laughed at, he said, if I am able to make this many cars a month, if I'm able to do this, that, bring sales up to this, then the compensation package was immense, but he
Yep.
didn't get paid a penny until then. So the board of advisors in the book, they talk about, and at that time, he hadn't hit those goals. But in the book, they talk about how he got laughed at. They're like, okay, easy
Mm-hmm.
deal. There's no way this guy's going to achieve that. So yeah, let's give him whatever he wants as compensation, but we just know he's not going to hit these metrics.
Wow.
And he did. But now the courts are saying that they're kind of I don't know how this even works. Why they'd be able to kind of interfere with a private company. Well, I guess they're public, so maybe that's why. But basically, they're saying that his compensation package is too much, and they're saying that it's just unnecessary enhancement of wealth or something like that. Basically, they're saying that he's just taking advantage of the system and he's getting too much money, like it's not fair. To me, that just blew my mind that they can agree on something that was considered impossible.
Yep.
And now the court can come in and say, you know what? You're not allowed to touch this money. So he didn't work. He didn't get a salary for years. Obviously, he has shares, but he didn't get a salary for years working for without salary just to get this compensation package. He achieved goals that no one ever thought he would achieve. And now the courts come in and say that he's not allowed. He can't touch that.
It's insane, Zach. Look, and I didn't. I saw the headline. I didn't dive deep into that, but there's two things I want to touch on without having read that, what you just shared with me. One,
So disclaimer, uninformed conversation going on. Don't
yeah,
quote us. Don't, so.
one thing. It's about risk reward. Okay.
Okay.
Of course, the bigger the risk you take, the higher the reward you want. Elon took a massive, massive risk, had personal wealth, says, I don't even want any money from that. He put in plan a place that people laughed at in order to go get this big paycheck. So for it to be outlandish, it makes sense. And it's good because he went so far out there. He put it in the fact that, you know what? I might not even attain this, but if I do, I want that big payout because I'm literally putting it all on the line. So when people look at deals too, and it comes down to investing, the higher the risk, you want the higher the reward. I invested in one private company. I'm ready to lose every single dollar that I put into that company. But if it does what I think it can do, my payout will be massive. We're talking 15, 20, 30 times what I put in. But that's what comes down to this thing. So for them to go, look, I hope you can test it. I hope it goes higher up because I don't think that's right. That's the first thing I wanted to say. The second one, Zach, the moment it involves money, money changes people. It's easy to talk about it, but when it comes time to write that check and says, all right, look, I'm sending you $50 billion, $1 million, $100.
I think it was 55 billion.
Yeah. It changes people. So it's easy to say now, oh yeah, we'll do that deal right now. Shareholders, they have to get it in writing because it's easy when you start the business. Yeah, we're good. We'll just the other partner will buy it back out at this price. But you go 10 years down the lines, but man, this business is worth 10 times more than we thought. Now, what are you going to buy me out at that price? Money, you have to be careful with money. You have to be careful with who you partner with. You have to have these discussions. So those are the two lessons there that I kind of take out from that headline there with Elon.
And you said money changes people. I want to challenge you on that, but I think you'll agree. I think money, when you get a lot of money, it makes people more of who they really were.
It amplifies.
Let me explain.
Yeah.
Yes. So someone, you've seen, I worked at a place where I was a barista, served coffee, and there was gelato. Okay. There's a big difference between people saying, this was in French, but I'll translate it. People saying, can I have a dark coffee? Instead of people saying, you're going to give me a dark coffee. Yeah. I hate that. Yeah. Like giving you an order instead of saying, hey, hi, can I have a blah, blah, blah. That's the same person that when they have a lot of money, they look at the waiter and they do one of these. You want to piss me off? Treat someone like that as if you're better. I don't care who you are, but if someone is serving you food or being a waiter or whatever, respect, please. But anyways, all that to say, I think money makes you more of who you really are. So sometimes you see people extremely generous, and now they make it big, have a lot of money, and then they're uplifting everybody around them. And that is something that I think that I know you're like that, and I really appreciate that from you, is that you're not greedy at all. You're not nickel and diming. You use what you've earned to uplift others around you, which I'm a good case study of that you've done for me.
Yeah.
But I think that's the scary thing about money, and it reminds me of a quote. This is about alcohol, but it says, "Drunk words speak sober thoughts."
That's deep.
Have you ever heard that?
It makes sense. I have. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that. I was like, wow, that's so true. And in the same way, I think that a lot of money makes people, it amplifies, like you said, it makes people more of who they really are. And I mean, who am I? I'm 29 saying this. So the life experience that goes with it is very limited. But from what I see, I feel like that's the case. And yeah, it's not scary, but it's just, it's weird to see how things like that can change people. And that's why I think it's maybe the lesson behind this is more of know who you, it relates to the loyalty thing too. Know who you get in business with.
Mm-hmm.
Know who you bring into your inner circle.
Yep.
How are they? How are they going to be when they're going to make it big? I know one thing about me and you is that, as our things progress and we get, our things start working better and better, we have bigger and bigger opportunities. I know that us too, we have that vision where we want to uplift others, and that's why we want to build the team, because we want to see others win, want to find the formula and then multiply that with others, and then win together, win as a group. How much more
Yep.
fun is that than winning alone? So,
Exactly. You hit the nail in the coffin. And one more thing I want to say about that, it's when it comes to money too, it's choosing the right partner. In the
mm,
sense, one thing that I thank God for is that I met Kame. When we met, we had nothing, man. We had not a penny to our name. We would go to Lennoxville, Lennoxville. We'd go to
yeah.
Provigo. We go to the deal section to get our food. We'd look, all right, what's in that box? You go to the far right corner of the store. There's this frozen meals section, and there's the deals there. All right, that one's $2. All right, that's what we're getting today. This one's $3. Yeah, there we go. Oh, nice little special on this. We're gonna
Yeah.
go hard tonight.
Hey,
So yeah,
Chicken Thursdays. Cannot
chicken,
forget Chicken Thursdays. Get
chicken.
two chicken breasts, some nice fries, and a little macaroni salad for
Exactly.
like $6.99.
So that's I'm lucky for too, because some people seek, well, there's some people that just go after someone because they know they're very successful or whatnot, but it's difficult. So it's true love. It's not the material love. So that was the little side
Yeah,
note I wanted to
and
say on that.
no, I agree, man. And honestly, one of the biggest life hacks for me these past 2 almost 3 years is to have a solid partner that makes you
Yeah.
better. And I've had the conversations with, like, people see it too when you have a genuine good relationship, because they start asking you about, or start just joking like, oh, I need to find my,
Yeah. Yeah.
insert name of your girl or my girl or whatever.
Yeah.
And but it's the biggest cheat code, because it allows you to just go all in. I would never have been able to quit my job. And at first I quit my job without even knowing what I was really going to do. You were
Mm-hmm.
talking to me about becoming a financial advisor, but I wasn't really sure. And there's no way I could have done that without her. But
Yeah.
we had an agreement. I said, give me 4 months, and if in 4 months I can't comfortably pay the mortgage, I'm gonna find a job and then do my side thing in the evenings and weekends until I'm able to quit again and try. And if I fail, I'll just get another job, keep trying, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. We were really blessed that we were able to get it on the first try.
And
Not as easy as we thought at first. It's always great when you first quit the job and you're like, all right, let's do this. It's going to be fun. And after that, you
yeah,
start realizing that you didn't know what you don't know. But
exactly.
yeah, like, well said. Of, the biggest life hack has really been having the solid partner, whether it's in business or in your personal life.
And one
And
thing I
I
want
bet
to
as a
add,
dad too,
oh,
having
big
a
time.
kid.
That's my why, man. Like, talking about why we
Mm,
do things, they're my reason why. That's why I work so hard. That's why I want to build what I can build, because I want to be able to enjoy life as much as I can with them. So that's what it comes down to, and I'm having fun doing it, man. We're surrounded by great people. We have a great business. We're going in the right direction. And look, you talked about quitting your job, doing the switch just this week, man. You got an award. I know you're humble. You probably won't want to share it, but look, you're recruit of the year, man, in the big firm. I mean, we're a business affiliated with the firm just due to the compliance and whatnot of the industry,
mhm.
but you stood out. So we're going in the right direction.
No, I appreciate you mentioning that, and
Yeah,
you're right. I wasn't going to mention it, but yeah, man,
yeah,
and you played a big role, and we've talked about this. So, yeah, it's been a good year. 2023 was great, and now 2024, we're aiming
yeah.
for a lot bigger and just consistent growth. And I think the importance of the why, because I
Mm-hmm.
think some people, their why is a dollar sign or a specific number next to that dollar sign.
Yeah.
And not that it's bad, everybody could pick however they want, but I feel like there's a point where you've reached your goal there,
Mm-hmm.
whereas yours, you want to just offer the best for your family. There's no end to that.
That's it.
Some people in the industry, I'm not even talking about anybody specifically. I'm just saying overall, and this could be not only in financial services, but just overall in business. There's some people that have that number. I want to
Yeah.
make it to 1 million a year, And then, that's my goal. I want to make it to $250,000 a year, whatever. But, some people work to that. And once they get to that point, then they just maintain. Nothing
Yep.
bad to it. But me and you are people that our whys aren't about the number next to that dollar sign. We're not chasing a number. We're chasing a vision. We have just this big project. Now we're like, this we believe is a great idea. We believe this could help so many different people, which is going to fulfill us personally more than just any material thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we're so motivated. And again, we talked about this last week. You're already at the point where you could be maintaining right now. You got your nice house, you got the cars, you got your kid, and everybody's comfortable. You're not, struggling financially to pay the bills and all that, but you want to keep growing because just for the love of the game,
Exactly.
kind of like a Tom Brady, where he was considered the GOAT. He had 5 Super Bowls, 6 Super Bowls, and then he went to another team, wanted to win a 7th. If his why was just to win a Super Bowl or to be the one with the most Super Bowls, he would have stopped a while ago. But the why was stronger than that. So another good book, Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
Exactly. And look, we've already passed 30 minutes mark. I still want to go. I want to talk about the enhanced games, Zach.
Yes.
So just for those listening, what are the enhanced games? Peter Thiel there, one of the co-founders of PayPal, one of the first outside investors in Facebook. So there's going to be this type of new Olympics, like the competitive Olympics, but where athletes can be on performance enhancement drugs. They can be boosted, going all in. So what I want to ask you, Zach, are you for it, against it? What are your thoughts?
I'm for it if it's separate from the non-steroid competition. Where I'm against it is if it's someone trying to cheat the game, saying that they are natural and, that they accomplish this naturally. Yeah. The enhanced games, call it just that, the enhanced games. Make it so obvious that people are on the sauce so that we're not confusing. So I would be against it if, let's say, you're in the now people are going to say they're all on steroids. I was going to say if you're in the NFL or whatever, if you're in a sport where there's a rule that you shouldn't be doing it and you're doing it, that I'm against. Yeah. Where I'm all for it is, hey, let's just see where this thing can go. I agree. How high can they jump? How fast can they jump? The only thing that I find sad is that it's not in the eyes of the real athletes and the people who really admire the sport, whichever one it may be. I just think that in the eyes of people who are just kind of generally watching, well, it's going to diminish the people. Let's say a guy is all roided up and he destroys Usain Bolt's record. Well, some people are going to diminish Usain Bolt's accomplishment and say, well, this guy ran it in, I don't know the times, but he ran it a full second faster, which is a millisecond is huge in racing. So, the only thing I find sad is I think it's going to diminish some of the accomplishments from the people who've done things naturally. But I think if it's just so obvious, it's called the enhanced games, and everybody knows that no one is able to accomplish this under regular circumstances, then I'm all for it. I want to see how far people jump. I want to see how much people lift weights, and saying this knowing that the athletes know what they're getting into. Yeah. They're not, that's a whole nother can of worms of like, now our young athletes going to be pushed to, use things to go into the enhanced. That's where I think it's wrong. I think you should, it should only be adults, obviously, that have access to this, and they should be fully aware and consent to this. I know what the side effects will be, X, Y, Z, but without going into the details, just the concept, I'm a fan. Yeah. I want to see what happens here. Like I can't even think like how far are they going to throw the freaking javelin? Like how much weight are they going to clean? How fast are they going to run? Yeah. I'm sure there's sports that I'm not even thinking about right now that are going to be so interesting because of that.
I totally agree.
So yeah, I love the concept, but disclaimers around it.
No, that's good.
How do you feel about it?
What I love, it levels the playing field, because I know in every single sport, I'm not saying all of them, there are people that are pushing that boundary. And why? It makes sense. If you can go to the MLB and make millions of dollars, but you need that extra enhancement, you'll take that risk. You get caught, you get a 5-game suspension. Who cares? You got 20, 50, $30 million in the bank. What I love about this, Zach, it's going to just level the playing field for all of those people that decide to do that. I want to see where the human potential can go. The advancement in science is just going to keep getting greater and greater. But I love the fact that it's like bodybuilding, okay? Look at bodybuilding. You know that anyone's going to Mr. Olympia, they're on the juice. And what's great, they're finally talking about it more, because back in the days, it was taboo. They wanted to make people believe they could do it naturally. It wasn't. So they have
Which is probably even worse, especially for kids, because they look up to that and they're like, oh, why am I not 100%. Getting the results? Because they think the guy's natural. Yeah,
exactly. So there's natural bodybuilding federations. There's the normal one, which they're all enhanced. I don't want it, though, to take away from the Olympics, because I mean, that's been around forever. There's athletes that their whole lives, that's all they've ever wished to do. They sacrificed everything for. They played it by the book. They stayed clean. So I think the fact that there's an enhanced, I think it's great. I know there are people that will be trying to sneak in the normal Olympics while being enhanced. That's another story. But I think it's a positive. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see someone break the 9-second 100-meter dash. Probably not possible, or the 2-hour marathon, get it under it. We'll see what people can do with these new enhancements.
So before I say my next point, I want to ask you, you only have 2 channels. One of them is the Olympics. One of them is the Enhanced Games. Same competition. Which one are you watching?
Look, I might get some heat for that, but I want to see the enhanced numbers.
You're curious. You want to see.
I want to see which one. Look, you talked about headlines in the beginning. We're not going to get into that discussion, but what sells more? You have one headline like, look, all the top enhanced athletes in the world running the 100-meter dash or wrestling or fighting or whatnot, versus the best athletes, but not enhanced. You know, you're going to be drawn to it.
Can you imagine boxing?
Boxing,
you know what? Wrestling in the Olympics.
That's where I have a bit of trouble with enhancement, because people's health are at like, you're fighting someone. So, but yeah.
But you know what? I think that it's going to kind of bring this. I think it's going to evolve. I think at first it's going to be all the juice head Olympics. So I think it's going to take some time. But the reason why I said at the beginning that I believe it's going to be the death of the Olympics. And, you know, maybe the Olympics are just going to change the rules, but I really think that because of this, and we're talking about Peter Thiel, and I don't know who he's with, but you know they got money. Peter Thiel is a billionaire with a big B billionaire. I just think that eventually they're just going to sell it as this is, you know how Formula One, you're a Formula One guy, and I watched the Netflix series, and what I loved about that is that you realize that it's far from only being the driver. It's really 100%. The team and the science and the engineers and all that. Yep. Well, I think that the Enhanced Games, and this is a prediction, screen record this and, you know, keep it for 10, 20 years from now. But I believe that the Enhanced Games are going to be the main thing eventually, and they're going to sell it as it is the mix between science and athletes. Yeah. They're just going to say we're doing a healthy way, and we're just breakthroughs in science innovation where guys could recover so fast. And this guy tore his ACL last week, and today he's jumping 4 meters, and, you know, so that's my prediction. But yeah, very, very exciting to see what's going to happen with that. But I just hope that, as much as we're laughing here, and I can't wait to see how that's going to unfold. Mm-hmm. I do wish that it doesn't take away from the integrity of sports, which is the main thing that's at risk, especially for kids and all that. Like, we can't have the bad side of this is that kids see that and they don't want to make the Olympics anymore. They want to make the Enhanced Games. I would hate for my son to say that, you know.
The last thing I want to add to that, Zach, before we wrap up, and it's well, I'll give you an example. One of the weightlifting, bodybuilding, powerlifting, that was big part of my life growing up. Yet I always took the decision to never take any performance enhancing drugs, never taken steroids, SARMs, etc. Want to know the reason why? The reason why is I never wanted to give anyone the excuse to tell me that, oh, he's like that because he juiced to take away
Yeah,
from
you get the
all.
credit,
Yeah,
not anything else.
yeah. So I didn't want to take any, like some people give them the opportunity to take that away from me, all that work that I've put in. On the other side, I don't want to see people, oh, well, he's fast because he's on the juice, or he's fast because he's enhanced. There's a lot of work that comes with it too. So that's the last thing I wanted to add on that.
No, I like that. And man, 40 minutes.
It goes by fast.
Yeah, they went by really fast. We didn't touch on half of the things. I didn't talk about the book. This is something though that I do think is going to be interesting to talk about in another podcast. We got another one next week, folks. So and I might be filming from an undisclosed location.
Okay.
But yeah. So I think we're gonna wrap it up on that. Interesting show. I like how we're bringing headlines. Again, our competition for the first comment is still out there. First person to comment on YouTube is gonna get a shout out. So we're
still waiting.
Still waiting. And I joked about, I don't know if joke is the right term, but I kind of embraced the fact that we only have, in the 20s people watching and all that. But I posted a story last week because I wanted to show everybody that we're not worried about, the thousands of people. We're not trying to go viral. We're just really, really happy about there's a few people out there that are sitting on their couch and actually turn this on. Some people told me, yeah, we sit on the couch, turn it on, we watch it together and we like it. And you've had some amazing comments, people behind the scenes telling us that they like it and all that. So we're doing it for those people. And honestly, selfishly for us, because we have a great time doing it.
We're having fun.
Exactly. So again, thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe, anything, spread the word. Tell someone if you think they'd like a little piece on the enhanced games, tell them to check it out. But on that, Chris, I'll leave you with any final words and then we'll wrap it up.
No final words. Just have a great week, everyone. And we look forward to hearing from you guys.
All right, folks. Well, that was episode 13.
Episode 13. I want our subscribers to pass our episode count at some point. Yes. It's going to happen. So that's a goal for us.
Okay, to the real ones out there, find us 2 more subscribers so that we can match. And next week is 14, so we got some catching up to do. But for real, everybody have a great week. Thank you so much for listening. This was the coffee break of the week. Have a great one, everybody. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.